Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Another DME repair probably. This is a 2014 BMW 535i with an N55 engine and the common Valvetronic problem. This is actually, I don't know if I can consider that a defect or not a good recommendation from BMWs as far as maintenance. The most problematic on these vehicles, the Valvetronic, is a servo motor that moves the intake valves. It controls a whole lot of levers on the intake and moves back and forth, and that opens and closes the valve. That is how these BMWs actually accelerate. They have a throttle body, but the throttle body is kind of like an emergency in case the Valvetronic fails. But when you're accelerating a BMW and an N55 engine, an N63, N20, N26, and so, they have this Valvetronics motor, and they've been using this for a long time. And even the N62s, all N62, they have some sort of a Valvetronic setup, right? And that's how they accelerate. So this is a very strong motor. Now in these new engines, N20, N26, N63s, and N55 engines BMW, BMW added inside the same servo motor the eccentric shaft sensor, and it's actually 5 sensors, position sensor, because it's such an accurate position reading that the computer needs to know to control the acceleration properly. So this is how they fail. Usually is either one phase, 2 phases, or the whole 3 phases. It's a 3-phase motor. So I have it connected in here. I had created a harness that I can connect the servo motor, the computer, and the scanner at the same time. So this is my servo motor with my cable. This is Richard Hess from Freeport, Florida. This is your computer. And we're going to see his information in a second, which let me just put him into the screen. I have removed his personal data except for his name and the Freeport, Florida, so he can see that this is indeed his. Let me just, well, this is the connection. I already have opened the computer because I'm about to perform the repairs, right? I already did the previous test to know that it is indeed bad. All right, so this is, again, the same connection that you see here. And yeah, so we can see that paperwork closely. This is the whole information. So it says permanent 134F01, intermittent 134F04, cannot be erased. Valvetronic not able to learn limits or run in. New servo motor or new shaft was installed. And he's talking about the eccentric shaft. It's a very, that is the correct way to do it. You want to make sure that you replace the servo motor and the eccentric shaft. It is a little expensive. Sometimes you can check the eccentric shaft, but make sure if you do that, you need to remove the limits. As 2 kind of like bolts that are in the cylinder head that will allow the eccentric shaft to stop. It's the 2 limit stop, the maximum and the minimum. You need to remove the maximum in order to rotate the eccentric shaft with help, because it's not really that strong, but you want to be careful because it can swing back and it can break one of the levers. So you want to make sure that you got a helper, 1 wrench on the front and 1 wrench on the back, and you can move the eccentric shaft all the way to maximum position, and make sure with a magnifying glass and good light to check every single teeth from the back and from the front. Because sometimes, and I have seen this in many technicians where they just check the front and they're always good, and they install everything back and it ceases. Or it doesn't do the the learning because it's drawing a lot of amperage. Each phase of this motor, they draw around 60, in between 35 to 60 amps maximum, right? When the phases get bad, they go down to like 15 amps or 0. And I have a video if you want to see how is that test and how to perform the whole relearn process of the intake, because that's what is necessary after you perform these repairs. You need to complete a whole process of relearn, not just the limits. You need to adapt the entire intake, because again, this computer and with this motor controls the whole acceleration. So they need to relearn all those positions of all the valves and everything. So it's very important to do. But yeah, that's how they get burned. So let's now that we see what we have in here, you can also see the VIN number in there. Ends on 22071 and is with a manual transmission. So I got everything connected. So let me go back to here. I'm going to put the Auto Ultra here because I'm going to, first, what I want you to see is if this moves. So I'm going to power up in here. And let me power up the scanner. And I'm going to power up the computer. Oh, you see, it barely moves. So let me get a little closer. I'm going to turn this back off. Keep an eye in here because it's going to do it again. See, it's barely moving. It goes like because maybe one or two of the phases are bad. But let's see if we can establish communication. Let's wait for the scanner BCI to connect. All right, so yep, it did connect. So we have good communication in the scanner, which is great. So that is the correct pin number. Remember, 22071. So he and all of you now, they can see that this is indeed Richard's computer because I'm always trying to show full transparency. I want to leave no doubts that what I'm working on is his computer and everything is fixed correctly. All right, so we're going to enter the computer. And this is going to try to attempt a complete vehicle communication. So it's definitely going to say that it has a malfunction in the communication because we only have the computer here. You can see in there, it's an F10 with an N55 engine, October of 2013. And the last digits of the VIN number, the last 7 digits. That's how BMW and Mini Cooper or BMW does it all the time to ID the vehicle. Just want to read the faults because in here we're going to have the fault about no limit position learn, and that's the only fault that we should have at the end when this computer is fixed. All right, so it's asking me to turn the ignition off for 10 seconds. I'm not going to do it because, again, we don't have the entire vehicle. You only need that in the vehicle. And it's good to do it because otherwise it will not communicate with all the entire vehicle if you don't do that. You see it says communication faulty. I already knew that. Trying to go as quick as possible, give you some hints on testings and stuff like that you need to do, but I'm also trying to make the video quick so I can send these computers out because I'm about to leave to Alaska, so I'm trying to fix as much as I can, and I got a lot of work. So sometimes some of them are not going to be able, I mean, I can do just as much as I can do, right? But I'm going order. I'm trying to help as much as I can all the people, but I know sometimes it's impossible, so I will, whatever I cannot finish, I will let the people know. If you cannot wait, I will send the computers back and send it to somebody else, but, you know, they said they don't mind, so that's what they're here. All right, let's see if it is a scanner. Communicates. Try to read again the entire vehicle. Come on. I'm also rushing a little bit because my wife is about to come home, and when she comes, the dogs go ballistic. It's always like this greeting. I love that. You know, they come to you and greet you. Dogs are the most beautiful animals that I think they have a beautiful soul, and I hope so because, you know, as we are humans, we believe that only us have a soul. I'm not sure, you know, nobody has ever told us otherwise, right? So they're such a beautiful beings that they're good friends with you in the house and with you in the car. It's like a part of the family, right? All right, finally, we're going to get here. We're going to go into DME. And we're going to go into trouble codes. Let's see what we got. Yeah, we got, yeah. Okay, so we have the 13 or 133.104. 133.104. He says F04. Maybe, again, might be using the, I'll tell us a different number because it's a 133. No, he actually has 134 F01 and 134 F04. Let me see if I can find those in here. No, I don't get those in here. But I do have Valvetronic activation line disconnection and Valvetronic servo motor position sensor electrical malfunction. So that is definitely, the computer cannot even read the position of the sensor. So this is definitely a bad computer. All right, I have all parts in stock, and sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's not repairable, but we'll see when we do the repair. And I take sometimes, you know, the chance, but that's what I open the computer first. If I see a burn, there's nothing I can do. With those faults, I can leave. Let me erase the fault codes in the video so we can see what it comes back. Valvetronic adjustment fault wrench check. Now we got that 134 FO4 that he mentions in there. What is the other one? 134 FO1. Adjustment wrench, full wrench checked. Yeah, those are the faults, the only fault that came back. And obviously, you know, this is definitely a Valvetronic problem. We got the 134 FO4. Now we got a little more, and it's a little bit sometimes hard to get all the fault data because it's nothing connected. So I will need to turn the ignition off and turn the ignition back on to get a lot of the faults, especially for the phases. But that adjustment range, full range check is already telling me that we definitely have a problem on the Valvetronic. I'm erasing the fault codes again. You see, it's kind of like giving us less faults and more faults and less faults. So this computer definitely needs to be repaired. All right, guys, let me perform the repairs and I'll be right back. If you want to know more about what is involved, just look into the playlist that I got for the N55s. I did show what is involved inside here, and I show all the computer open and everything. So if you want to see that, just look into the playlist and you will find it in there. Okay, I'll be right back, guys. All right, guys, I finished the repair. Let's connect. Well, I have everything connected, ready to go here. So let me just move you over to here. And let me get that a little closer. So let's take a look first of that motor when I power up. Because this is the first clue you're going to see. If this is good, remember that this was just going like and stopping. This should spin and then stop. All right, so let's power up. So let me just power this up and power this up. Okay, something is not right. I'm gonna make sure I got everything connected. Let me, guys, always check my connections. 1 second. Hey guys, new day. I actually stopped working on it. I felt a little tired, and you know, it was already too late, and so I started now fresh the next morning. And I want to show you a little more because this computer is a manual transmission, plus it's updated to, I think it's like 2020, the last update that this computer has, which changed a lot of the strategy. The manufacturer changes with those updates. A lot of strategies about testing and running tests in the same computer for problems like in the Valvetronic. So I want to show you quickly, just, you know, what this relay should look. Let me just see 1 second. And that one, let me take the top down. I'm using actually the top down today, so as you can see. Now let me show you the display. So this is what they call the Valvetronic relay. It is actually internally into the power distribution module. But they show you the internals. It's a fuse, 100 amp fuse that supplies this S11, which is the integrated supply module. And inside this non-serviceable, none of the fuses and none of these relays are replaced. You have to replace the entire unit. We have the Valvetronic relay. As we see, when the Valvetronic relay closes in here, it will supply the power on terminal 2 for the Valvetronic, which I have in a wiring. That's not a problem. I also have in a wiring terminal 5, which is the confirmation from the computer to control that relay. And the same exact module, part number the same year, but in the automatic, I usually don't have to connect this. The Valvetronic does an actuation when you start the control, and then everything is good. But on Richer, the manual transmission, I have to actually connect the relay because otherwise it will set up faults, even though right now it's completely fixed. Because yes, this computer was definitely damaged. And the reason I'm also showing this is because, Richard, you might need to replace that integrated supply module. I'm not sure, you know, because if this was shorted as this was, it might have taken that, and even now the computer is fully repaired, which I'm going to show you now, the Valvetronic motor moving and everything, it might still set fault. So you need to change that, and I can show you the location and how that looks. If it opens up. Okay, so yeah, this is the location on the vehicle. Is on the right side, and that's how it looks. It has this S11 2B is actually like a thick wire that comes from the battery, and that or the battery cables. It's going through another fuse. That's the one that has like the 100 amp fuse in there, and so. But yeah, this is sitting on top of the airbox for the blower motor in your car. It's on the right side, right next to the windshield. We can see the wiper blade right here. That's the wiper blade, and you see the location right here on the yellow upper view of the vehicle. And this is where you might have to replace. Again, it's hard to say because I'm not in the car, but looking at the damage that was in the computer, you might need to do you might end up needing to replace that as well. All right, so just like I said, something quickly that I want to share with you and with Richard. All right, so right now I got the top down connected. We see that we have, let me get into my view so I can control that from the computer. We have the 133.104 fault, Valvetronic relay line disconnection. This is this wire. That is pin 5 that is looking for a relay. So right now it says that a relay is disconnected. So I'm going to connect it to a test line, which just to simulate a different fault. All right, so I'm going to clear the DTCs. Remember, we got the 133.04, and if I scroll down, there is no other fault. 133.04, but nothing else for the Valvetronic. I'm going to clear the DTCs, and we probably saw they're trying to activate. Yeah, it tries to activate the Valvetronic when I clear the fault codes. But since there is a fault, it does not move the Valvetronic. And this is also what I'm trying to show. All right, so right now, if I scroll down, right now we got 133.101. Valvetronic relay activation short circuit to battery positive. Why? Because it does not like the voltage that's going through that slide on this same wiring. Okay, right here, I have a BMW relay connected to power on terminal 86, and I'm going now to connect terminal 85 coming from that fuse, from that pin 5. So right now I'm connected into the relay. Let me just remove the test line. Can I remove it? Yeah, I can remove it here. So you can see now I have the relay. Like I said, terminal 86 is connected to positive, and terminal 85 is the one that's going into that pin 5 onto there. All right, so I'm just going to remove it because this has power. I don't want to have it on top of the computer in case it disconnects. But right now, as you see, the Valvetronic is not moving. But when I clear the fault codes, this should immediately start attempting to perform the relearns on this manual transmission with that 2020 calibration. If it does not find the minimum or the maximum stop, we'll keep moving the motor and moving it and moving it and moving. And that is normal, but it should be no faults. And we are going to see that. So I'm going to clear the fault codes. I might have to swap the ignition, which is good. But before I do that, I want you to see that we have now no more the 133.01 or the 133.04, and there is actually no fault codes or anything on the Valvetronic. I'm going to scroll all the way out. This we have ignition, relay, accelerator pedal. Let me see what this one, charge pressure, accelerator pedal, supply, and now I lost the image. Come on. Okay, finally update. Supply, no message for this, which again, I don't care. But there is no 133.04 or 133.01, nothing of that. Now, let me try one different, going into actuation, which is very unique to top down. Hotel doesn't have it. I'm going to try to delete the full memory. and see if that activates the Valvetronic. No, it didn't. So I'm going to have to just get out of here. And I want you to watch the motor now that I have everything in place as it's supposed to, and we got no fault codes. When I turn the key off and turn it back on, you see right now? Let me get you closer. Now the Valvetronic is moving back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, looking for this sub. So I'm going to turn it off because this draws a lot of amperage. This is moving back and forth. I got a very capable power supply, but I don't want to keep it on there all the time because for obvious reasons. So I'm going to unplug that wire again, and I'm going to create a fault, right? The line open. Now I can power it up. You see, it did try to move, but it's up. So, and if we read the fault memory, now go back into read the fault codes, we should have the 133.104, and immediately we have it right there. 133.104. So that is just a confirmation. What I'm trying to do here, because again, I want to make sure that Richard can see that his computer is fully repaired, and there is no doubt that it's done. Like that, I can confirm one line open, one fault open, or shorted to battery positive, and then the Valvetronic moving. I'm actually going to, not sure how many hours or minutes I have since I stopped the video. Let me see the total. 21 minutes. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to connect the Altel so we can see what can or not done or we do with that scanner here. I want to, for my own, I want to do that myself. So if you want to see that, stay here. All right, guys, I got the top done. The Altel Ultra connected. So let's. I have not powered the computer. Everything is the same way. I want to see or show you that the wire is unplugged. Let's see what fault we get when that one is unplugged. So I'm going to turn the computer on. And then you can see, well, because I didn't show, that is Richard's big number. Let me just, I'm going to read it from my folder in here. It should be D022071. Yeah, that is exactly the same one. Because I got multiple computers in here, and I don't want to make sure, even though I have the covering here, well, but you cannot see it now. Now you can see that that is the correct computer. All right, so I'm going to click on OK. That is going to take a little while to, check for the vehicle and all that stuff, but I want to see what we can or not do and what the faults are in the top down compared to the Altel, right? So this is very important. When you have multiple tools, I want to share it with all of you. There's a lot of technicians and a lot of do-it-yourself that are watching my videos, and there's some time connecting, and I'm getting this full code. But then if I connect the Altel, I'm getting a different fault code. What does that mean? So this is where it will be very important to see. I don't need to do any of that. Again, I don't have the entire vehicle, so only the computer will be here. The engine computer. All right, we click on OK. And don't even waste your time using or trying to use any snap-on tools on BMWs. They're junk. It is sad for me to see what Altel does. As soon as you're not in subscription, they remove the topology and a lot of functions out of your scanner because you're not in subscription, which I will consider that should be completely illegal because I paid for that subscription till, let's say, last year. So I should have the same coverage from that model backwards because I already paid for it. I'm not paying for you for 2025 or or so, but the rest of the years I have paid for, I should be having the same functionality in my tools, and they remove things. I'm just, having a conversation with all you, once while the scanner connects. Yeah, this takes a while just because it's trying to look for the entire vehicle. And even if it's in the car, it will take a while to read, 40, 50 computers, right? Sometimes it all depends on on the level of the BMW, it can have from 25 to 45 computers. And that's what they're now going into FlexRay, which is a faster communication that can go into gigabytes instead of megabytes. And that makes the communication back and forth in between all the modules more reliable and, faster. And on a vehicle, you have to, right? Okay, we're going to go into the DME. Let's go into trouble codes first. That's what I'm really looking for. So let's see what we got here. Okay, we got the 133.104 line activation line disconnection. That's good. I want to, also to show you where, again, from my own records too, his concern was that he couldn't get rid of faults of 134 F04 and 134 F01. I want you to see that those faults are no longer here. So 134 F01 and F04 are not in any mean longer on this computer. At least I cannot see it. No, they're not here. All right, so what I'm going to do is the same thing that we did with the tap done. I'm going to first connect it to a test light. Let me connect the test light to power. And then the other end to the wire that I showed you before. And let's clear the DTCs. We should have now the 133.01. Well, actually, it's now giving us the 134 F04. You see, it's a very different reading from one scanner to the other. See, this scanner is reading a completely different fault code. 134 F04. Let's try to clear it again, because sometimes this scanner takes a little longer. I just hear the Valvetronic move. So let's see. Okay, yep. Probably is because I disconnected it and I plugged that in the 134 134.04 F04 showed up, because right now with the that wire connected to the test light, we're getting the 133.101, same thing as in the tap down. So again, those are same things, but we're no longer getting the 134 F04. And this is where I also wanted to guide Richard, because I don't want to, oh Mike, it's giving me the same problem. Yeah, but you might have another issue in the car. So I'm trying to help you with that, Richard, and that's what I explained that in the beginning. We can see that we have no 134 F02 or F, what's it? Let me just read the faults I have it here. I don't want to give the wrong data. 134 F01 and 134 F04, those are gone here. So we don't have that issue. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug that test light, and I'm going to plug the relay, which probably keep an eye on the motor every time I'm doing this, but I heard it kind of clicking and moving. All right, we're going to erase the fault codes. You see, now we have 134 F02, Valvetronic adjustment range limit position not learned. Again, this is the F02. That is not his concern. It was F01 and F04. So the F02 is actually good, because it's telling me that it couldn't read or learn the lower limit. That's exactly what we're looking for to see on this computer. All right, I'm going to clear the fault codes again. And I might have to switch the, we got the F134 F02, Valvetronic, lower limit position not learned. So this is definitely Richard already, and all of you, a completely fully repaired computer. No doubt about it. And then if I now switch the ignition as I did before, you see how now the motor is doing the same thing as it was doing before with the tap done. So I'm going to unplug that, because I don't want to have that again drawn that much. See, if I plug it in now with the computer on, because I created a fault. Well, actually, I did it. Yeah, I did it. Let me create a fault with the test light, because I know with the test light it will not actuate it. See, I got the test light there. Let's clear the fault codes. (134) F04. Again, that is one of the is problems, but it's because I disconnected the Valvetronic with the computer on. You see, I now erase the fault codes, and I hope that you saw that Valvetronic moving. I have the test light. When I have a wrong, let's say, when we have a problem with the relay, it will be the 13301. Actually, I don't see it here. 133. Let me clear it again. Yeah, 133. 011 Valvetronic malfunction, secondary reaction voltage. F02 Valvetronic lower limit position not learned. You see, this is exactly what bed relay or bed module power. What was the name of that one? So many acronyms that they use, it's hard to keep up. It will be the integrated supply module. Will set if you have a bed relay internally or a blowing fuse, right? So, but yeah, everything is good. I don't want to keep going with this. I think it's enough of a test. We can see it that with the relay, and when I erase the fault, the 134 faults that he had are completely gone, and everything is good. All right, Richard, so I will be sending actually this computer your way today, and probably you will get it tomorrow because he paid for 1 day deliver. So everything will be good to go. I'm just going to seal it, and he already paid for everything, so everything is good to go. I'm going to upload the video, and hopefully you just connected and everything works well in the car. But otherwise, now you know where to look or what to look into the vehicle. Hopefully it's something you can move quickly and then get the car in the road and everything good to go. All right, guys, if you're here in the channel, please don't forget to subscribe. Every time you subscribe to the channel, YouTube promotes more and more of my videos, and that's how you find me. It's also for free, so thank you so much if you do so. If you have any computers, instrument cluster, automotive, or marine, please look for the same name that this YouTube channel has with my Salazar Diagnostics. Just add the .com, and you can find me. I hope I have all my information in their boxes. You can click on with like download this form to send a module. Click here to email me. My email is there, my phone number, the shipping address. But please contact me first. All right. Thank you so much. See you next time. Bye bye, Richard. Thank you so much for trusting my Salazar Diagnostics. I hope everything goes well at your end. See you next time. Bye bye.